Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the session for automating a business process using Power Automate. My name is Mohan Sindhu, and I work for Netcom Learning as a full-time trainer. Okay. Now, in this very session, we're going to talk about what is Power Automate and how one can utilize the capabilities of Power Automate to automate any transaction in business, or even if you want to do it for your real world life situations, you can do that as well. Okay, let's dive into it and see what it has to offer for us. So first thing is, the question everybody might have is, what is Power Automate? Okay, so think of it as a tool that can help you automate all transactions, no matter how you are trying to, or like what kind of business transaction you're referring to, be it a transaction that is something to be done on Teams, or a transaction that needs to be done on SharePoint, Outlook, SQL, Twitter, wherever you have, whichever application you have, be it an online application, be it a cloud-based application, be it a proprietary application. So every application, service, or data storage that you might have, and if you would need to go ahead and automate any transaction on those, Power Automate could be the right tool for doing that. Okay, so you would be able to use it across all those most common apps and services. These are some of the examples that they've given in here. Like, you could use it with Outlook, you could use it with SQL, Power BI, Azure DevOps, SharePoint, Forms, Twitter, Drupal, etc. There are 1,400 plus connectors that you would be able to use within Power Automate. Now, let me give you some real world example as in, what is it that it can do for you? See, in organizations, there are repetitive tasks that you would have. If I talk about e-commerce company, okay, each time there are customers who are leaving the items in their cart, okay, you probably would like to remind them about the items they have left in the cart. Okay, so that is a repetitive task. What you can do, let Power Automate do the job for you. So each time they leave an item in the cart, Power Automate is capable of sending them a message or a reminder stating that there is an item left in the cart to be proceeded. Okay, that's one example. Letting your employees know about the attendance or the salary, processing their salaries. Let Power Automate do that for you. You don't have to do it manually because it's a repetitive task, and doing it every time can be time consuming and monotonous. So Power Automate can do that for you. Updating their attendance, approving their leave, processing their salary, right? You want to allocate tasks to them every day, as in when they start their shift. So Power Automate is capable of doing that for you. So these are some of the common examples where you'd be able to use Power Automate. Now, there are different types of automations that you'd be able to work with. So we have different types of automation, and they are basically categorized into three categories. First is our cloud flow, then we have business process flow, and then desktop flow. So these are the three types of automation that we have. Now, when we say cloud flow, we're referring to all those types of flow that would consider app services and data sources. Those are on the cloud. Okay, that's why it is called cloud flow. Now, this also has further segregation within itself, that is automated flow. So think of automated flow as a flow that gets triggered automatically. There's no manual intervention required in here. Somebody, every time there is an event happening on any of the cloud-based application, service, or data source, this process can be instigated and execute all the tasks. Those are configured as part of it. So think of it like the moment you receive a calendar invite, okay, and you would want to go ahead and check your availability and book or accept or reject the invitation accordingly. The automated flow could be the right right choice for that, because the moment you receive an email invite, your calendar can be checked, and it could be auto approved or like auto accepted or rejected based on your availability. Okay. So that is automated flow. We have instant flow as well. Now, this is what you would be able to do. Like with instant flow, you'd be able to create a flow that is going to be instigated manually. There would be a button that you need to press in order to start this flow. So this could be useful for the types of requirements wherein you don't want it to be automated, where you do not want it to be automated, to be instigated automatically. Okay, like every time you have an employee to be added in the system. So this might not happen every day, right? There would be proper time for hiring, and every time you have an employee joining in, you just press a button, a flow would run, and the ID would be generated. The employee would be added in the system. That's when instant flow could come handy. That's one of the examples. Okay. We have scheduled flow when you would want the flow to be run at a scheduled time, maybe like every day 8 a.m., every day 10 p.m., every week, every month, every quarter, every year, right? Every hour, every minute, every second. So that's when scheduled flow is going to be the right choice for you. Okay. It's going to run at a scheduled time. We have a business process flow. Now, this is exclusive to Dataverse, which is the data storage platform for Power Platform. So in business process flow, it's more like a guide or recipe that would let users know about the sequence of completing a task in the right order. Okay. It'll present them with a list of stages, and those stages would have data steps as part of it so that everybody would follow the same path for completing a particular task. Think of it, if we ask somebody to go ahead and prepare some food, everybody would have different habits of doing it, right? But what if you set certain standard rules that at first you need to complete task A, then go to task 2, then task 3, and so on and so forth. And that's exactly what business process flow is. When you want to bring in standardization, when you want to bring in consistency in the results, that's when business process flow could be the right choice. We have desktop flow, which can let you go ahead and automate transactions. Those are based on desktop. Like you want to take a printout of the machine, you want to save a file locally on the system as part of the automation. Like each time you receive an email, maybe I want to have that downloaded and saved on the local device. So for that, desktop flow could be the right choice. So these are the types of flows that we have. Now let's have a look at how we're going to access it. So to access this, we'd go to make.powerautomate.com. Okay, I've already opened this for you guys, and there you have make.powerautomate.com. And in here, we have the menu options in here. Now to create it, you just go to, either you could go to create, and there you would have the option for creating. There are 3 ways to create the flow. You could start from blank, you could start from a template. You could also choose to start with a connector in here. Okay. Now, when you start from blank, you need to define everything in there. When we talk about Power Automate, there are 2 important points of the Power Automate. One is a trigger, something that would start the flow. So the starting action of the flow is going to be known as a trigger. And then we have action. Okay. So whatever would happen once the flow is instigated, that is going to be considered action. So if I quote one example, let's say we have a record, like each time let me show you one flow so that will be clear to you. So I've already created one flow. I go to my flow where you'd have the flow created, and this is the flow. So let me open it in the edit mode. And here you could see that in this flow, we have a starting point. Okay. So this is my trigger. Now this trigger says that each time there is a record added in this site. So we have given a SharePoint site and a SharePoint list. So we are saying that each time a record is being added into this list, the flow should start. Okay. Now, once it starts, so we've added some condition here, such as that you check for the amount of the expense. So this list is going to consider, that list is going to take care or going to include expense details. Okay. So we're saying that each time an expense record is added, check for the amount if it's more than 200. If it is more than 200, then you go ahead and look for an approval. Now, when you look for an approval, you again go ahead and configure this action in here. So this is got a trigger, and then all of these remaining points are our actions. Okay. So here it shows the approval. So this is one of the connectors that we have within Power Platform that would let you go ahead and leverage the approval capability. So you could go ahead and request for an approval. You could even go ahead and approve it once it's been raised by somebody else for you. Okay. So you configure it like this, that you define the approval type, title, who do you want to assign it to, and add all the details. And then you add another condition. We've added another condition where it says if the approval is approved, then you go ahead and send out an email that states that the approval has been, or the expense has been approved. But if it's not approved, then you go ahead and send out another email stating that it's been rejected. Yeah. So like this, you would be able to create a flow, and this flow would have different branches in here. So once it's done, you just save it, and then you could even test it on real-time basis. Okay, let me show you how it's going to work. So when you would want to go ahead and, now if you would want this flow to work, all we need to do is go to the SharePoint site of this SharePoint, and then just add a record, and the flow would get automated, would get instigated automatically. Okay, that's how the flow is going to work for us. Now, that is all I wanted to share, considering the time constraint. For more learning, you could definitely look forward to the trainings conducted by Netcom. Okay, and you could also refer to the page for Netcom, that is www.netcomlearning.com, and that's how you could keep yourself updated about latest trainings. Those are happening in domain of Power Platform, Azure, AI, Microsoft Dynamics, all of those technologies. Thank you so much, everyone.